Hello friends, welcome to your English session. Today, I would like to introduce the first chapter from your supplementary reader, Moments. I hope you enjoy my videos. Kindly share your feedbacks and doubts at the comment box so that the meaning of teaching and learning process will be fulfilled. So let's begin the story of the lost child. The lost child is a heart-touching story of a small child who becomes a victim of an unfortunate event. It concentrates on the universality of a child's desire for everything. It's an open-ending story which will pressurize the readers to think that what will happen to the child. The child loses contact with his loved ones in a village fair. The story depicts children's psychology and highlights the bond of love and affection that the child shares with his parents. Dear students, this brilliant story was born from the pen of Mulk Raj Anand, one of the pioneers of Indo-Anglican fiction. He, together with R.K. Narayan and Raja Rao, was one of the trio of Indian English novelists. He was an Indian writer in English. He was notable for his depiction of the life of the suppressed and deprived sections in the traditional Indian society. Anand had illustrated a philosophical topic through a simple tale. Most of his stories are set in rural India, and kids are the protagonist in most of the fables. Indian characters and local settings are a trademark of Anand. Now, let's move on to the summary. As I have mentioned at the outset, the story is revolved around a small child, and the setting of the story is a village fair. It was a spring festival, and the main attraction was the village fair. A massive crowd had gathered to partake in the festivities. There were people from different walks of life. They had colorful and diverse appearances. The crowd was thronging out of the town and moving toward the village fair. A small child, the protagonist, went to the fair along with his parents. The child was filled with joy and happiness on seeing the fun, pomp, and gaiety around him. There were many stalls selling a variety of things such as toys, sweetmeats, flowers, balloons, etc. There were snake charmers and merry-go-round and many other attractions too. The child was particularly interested in the toys sitting beautifully in the fair stalls and shops. Attracted by the colorful items in the stalls, the child stopped at every stall to enjoy watching them, for he yearned to play with them. The child pestered his parents to buy the toys, sweetmeats, flowers, balloons, etc. But in vain, though he knew that his parents would refuse his request and strictly say no to his request. As the parents found the child lagging behind, they kept shouting at him and asked him to move fast along with them. His desire was dismissed by his father, but his mother offered a warm and tender reply and asked him to look at the beautiful setting instead. Being heartbroken with unfulfilled desires, he looked at the massive expanse of mustard fields in front of him. He was overcome with delight and joy after taking such a beautiful sight. The fields were decorated with the yellow flowers that were dotting the landscape with a pristine natural beauty. The little boy's innocence was reflected by the fact that, on watching such beauty, he forgot the pain of his dashed hopes of a toy. He found amusement in Mother Nature's ample bosom. He was gripped with a childlike mischief. He entered the field and rummages through the flower. He found gratification in chasing the colorful butterflies and dragonflies. The mother was aware of his love affair with the butterflies and told him to not wander off far and away. Dear friends, not the point that the motherly care adds more beauty to the context of the beauty of the scene. The boy returned to his parents and accompanied them on the sidewalk. However, his attention again flirted with little worms and insects. He swung and chased after them. The parents decided to rest near a well in a grove and sit on its edge. They were provided shade by an enormous banyan tree. Dear friends, the story takes a turn from here into a serious mode. Meanwhile, the child lost his way and reached the fair instead, unknown to the fact that his parents were not following him. In the midst of the fair, his attention was fixed on the sweetmeat seller. The boy began slavering for his favorite Buffy. He was aware of his desire and limited his confession to a faint whisper and moved on. Then he saw a flower vendor, a balloon seller, and a snake charmer. He shoved a great understanding of his circumstance and did not linger too long at any of his desired attractions. At last the child reached a roundabout and stopped there. His nerve broke at his attraction. He was determined to request because the temptation of the roundabout was irresistible. He could not stop longing to have a ride. So he turned instantly to plead his parents to allow him to enjoy the ride once. To his utter dismay and horror, he found his parents nowhere near. The child was overpowered by the fear and started crying frantically. He was all alone and deserted in a crowd of strangers. In his fearful astonishment, he ran all over there hunting for his parents. Tears trickled down his face. His turban was undone and his clothes were drenched in dust and sweat. But he could not find them anywhere. He only uttered the words, "Mother and Father," in a loud and frantic voice. His desperate attempts to relocate his parents found no sympathy in a crowd of strangers which was consumed in merrymaking. The child reached a temple finally and searched for his parents there. He was almost trampled in the crush of the people there. Then a stranger saved him from the crowd. The man was sympathetic to the boy's plight and inquired about his situation and family. The child was overcome with grief and emotions and could not stop wailing. The sympathetic man tried to console the child by taking him to the stalls and offering the toys, sweets, flowers, and colorful balloons. But the child did not show any interest in them and cried in a loud voice that he wanted only his mother and father. The man tried again to distract him by taking him to the roundabout and to the snake charmer. The child refused all his offers and was unable to control his tears and painful cries. All the noble attempts of the sympathetic man to soothe the heart of the lost child finally failed. The child continued sobbing and screaming for a glimpse and reunion with his mother and father. Dear friends, it's a very important point to be noted that interestingly, all the things which had appealed so much to the child are no longer attractive. The story ends at this point without telling whether the child got his parents back or not. Here, the writer invites his readers to feel the story as they tend to happen. Thus, the story portrays child psychology very effectively. Dear friends, once again we can refresh what we have discussed today. The story is aptly titled The Lost Child, since the kid is actually lost in the materialistic world. The story beautifully explores the imaginative and curious mind of a child. It narrates how the wonders of the world and their beauty captivate a child's fancy. The innocence of a child is exhibited in a soft manner, and he overcomes the pain of his unfulfilled dreams and finds beauty in the simple things like the bounties of Mother Nature. Another theme that the author has touched is the courage that the child exhibits. Even after realizing the harsh reality of being lost, he remembers to do the right thing and look for his parents. He is also well aware of the natural bond and instinct of parents and their children, and is immune to the attractions of fleeting pleasures in sweetmeats or joyrides offered by the kind man. I hope all of you have enjoyed this session, and we will meet again in the next session with a new chapter. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day.